Light FM. The heat is on. The heat is going to be on for Friday and Saturday. We might get up to 87 degrees on Friday. Of course, we'll get down to 37 on Tuesday morning, so enjoy a 50-degree swing inside of about 4 days. It just makes life interesting, don't you know? Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. You really should, and the information you need to consult with him, her, or it is found right here with what's happening on Wall Street today. And we've got on the telephone my friend Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Philip, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Doing well today. It's halfway through the week, and I'm just hoping that maybe we can put together a string of up days, because we've had 2 weeks now of negativity, and when it comes to the market ending up down for the week, it'd be nice for this short week to kind of bounce back up a little bit.
It sure would, and the markets just cannot seem to figure out what to do. We ended up in the green yesterday, but boy, oh boy, was it, and it was a motion sickness inducing day. After a 400-point top-to-bottom swing during the day, the Dow ended up about 32 points. I mean, it's a sustainable gain. It's the kind of thing you'd like to see every day. Standard & Poor's swung up and down massively as well yesterday, ended up 7, and the NASDAQ pulled out a win, too, which is even rarer than the other 2 indexes. It was up a little under 32 points, but again, we had like a 300-point swing across the day. We just got bad news, then we turned around and get some good news that excited us, and I don't think investors have any idea whatsoever which direction they're going right now. Do you?
You know, I think they're just reacting to the news that comes across the wire, and depending upon what company that news is about, or what sector that news is about, kind of determines what happens to the market.
Pretty much up. The thing that killed us in the morning, I suspect, and again, trying to figure out exactly what goes through people's minds is awful hard, but ADP has gone to giving weekly updates on the employment picture, and yesterday's weekly update from ADP, the term said, negative sentiment has had an unprecedented 6-month run of weakness. That's not exactly something an investor wants if he's investing in a labor-intensive business, is he?
It is not. Yeah, that's definitely going to put some strain on the business for sure.
Absolutely. And then about halfway through the day, we started getting all kinds of leaks out of Apple, the nation's biggest company on balance, although NVIDIA has sometimes gotten bigger than it. Apple is saying that some point over the next week or so, we're going to get the newest release of the cheap iPhone. That's the SE models that basically do everything the current model can do, except with a minimal camera on the back of the thing, which is how they end up making it for cheap. That, and there's rumors of a couple of new MacBooks coming out, and they started teasing a little bit about wearable tech and expanding on their artificial intelligence strategy at Apple, to which the tech geeks are saying, "Oh, you're going to actually have one now." Everybody's whining about the fact that their Apple phones don't do all their thinking for them, and it's not as fancy as Google has been doing. But anytime Apple says, "Hey, we got something new in the pipeline," everybody goes crazy. And I think I saw Apple up something like 3% yesterday off of that.
Well, that's good, because they need a little bounce, because they've had their ups and downs over the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, they're one of the tech stocks that they're half hardware and half software. But when the software bust, or whatever you want to call it, hit, Apple, Microsoft, a lot of the companies that are hybrid hardware and software companies really kind of took it on the chin. So Apple kind of needed a boost, but the rumor mill was going crazy yesterday. And it looks to me, given the size of the swing and the steepness of the curve on NASDAQ, given the price-weighted nature on that, that looked like the afternoon rally that ended up pushing us in the green came as much as anything out of Apple. Look ahead to today. 2 p.m. is probably going to be the big number because it'll be the first time that we actually get minutes from the new configured Federal Open Market Committee, and we get the minutes from their January meeting. I've always been disappointed in the minutes. They don't say that, Fed board member XYZ said this. It just says a few members were opposed or in a favor and whatnot. But it's a new configuration of the board starting this year. It'll be the first time for us to figure out exactly what the conversations might have sounded like.
It will, Dave, and that's kind of a good point. It will be the first time we get those. Hey, we did get some numbers, though. You may not see them. A little catch up. We've got the housing starts and housing permits, building permits. They kind of caught up. They did November's and December's and released both of those this morning. And so looking at November's numbers, they're basically in line with expectations. December's numbers, though, were substantially better than expected. The housing starts for December were actually 1.4 million versus 1.3 million expected, and building permits up about 500,000 as well. So that was some good news on the real estate side.
That's all good news. We're supposed to be getting durable goods this morning, and I haven't seen that come out.
We did. It was it was expected to decline by 0.2%. It declined by 1.4, which I guess is good news, better news than what was expected. But it sure is off November's numbers, where it went up by 5.4%.
And I can't help but wonder whether or not you kind of got to take a smooth average across months on that. I mean, 5.3% in a month is almost boom time increase, so you almost expect it to be a little bit of a disappointment the next month, wouldn't you?
I would think so. Yeah, you're right, because there's going to be ebb and flows, right? They're not going to, order like that every single month. They're going to have, where they order big one month, and that's going to last them a month or two, and then they come back in with another big order. So, yeah, you're right.
Although December, I would have expected to be probably a better month than November on balance normally, just on the grounds of companies ordering capital expenditure goods, planning on the order of coming in for the next year and paying for it after the 1st of January. I know when I worked in a publicly traded company, that's the way we always stacked that deck. Mama raised no dummies here. As soon as the CEO says, okay, you just go ahead and order the stuff.
That's right. Start ordering.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let him change his mind. Order it fast before he changes his mind. Earnings season continues, and we got some tidbits as much as anything started out. You were mentioning before I had to throw us on the air that Warren Buffett and the New York Times end up in the same sentence. What the Sam Hill?
Yeah, we've got Berkshire Hathaway. Must have been one of the last things he did before he left the CEO chair at Berkshire Hathaway. And this is obviously, they have to file these things on a quarterly basis. They took a new position in the New York Times, and so that's helping the New York Times stock this morning. They're up 1.3%.
I wonder what he might have been drinking to prompt Warren Buffett to buy into the news. I mean, a newspaper is not exactly a growth industry right now.
No, especially the paper part, but they're more and more, especially New York Times, I'm sure, their digital, edition is probably getting a little higher readership for those people that want their New York Times on their tablet. They can grab it off of there. So
I saw some figures at the end of last year. About 80% of the New York Times circulation was in online reading instead of killing trees. So yeah, they're becoming an internet company more than they are a publishing company, aren't they?
They really are. That's for sure. So hey, looking at some earnings, we've got a couple that are maybe household names, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Start with Caesars Entertainment. That's the big casinos and entertainment world of Caesars. They beat on their fourth quarter results. Revenue was ahead of expectations as well as earnings. And so that has them trading up. Man, a big jump, up 5.8% this morning, Dave.
We were looking for good news somewhere, evidently.
I guess so. And that's following yesterday. They were up almost 4.5%. So that's a pretty big jump.
Absolutely. Looks like
Uh,
discretionary spending isn't really taking it on the chin quite yet, is it?
well, yeah, at least everybody needs their outlet, right? So maybe that's
Evidently.
keeping them going. So um, we had Analog Devices, and they're a chip company. They also beat on earnings and revenue, and so it has them trading up 5% this morning. So that was some good news for them. Another one that people may not realize this, but from a business perspective, this one's out there. Global Payments, they're a payment
Hmm.
processing company, and they had a good quarter as well. Beat across the boards. They also gave some, I think, decent guidance going forward. They're dadgum, close to 10%, 9.9% this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't see double-digit increases pre-market very darned often, do you?
Not much. Let's close out with Devon Energy. You see this in a lot of folks' portfolios as a stable, energy producing company. They did have a slight beat in the quarter, which was good news for them. And I was reading the actual annual report that they linked to it, and so they did have a good report, a good quarter. Average increase in their production was up. They actually announced a merger with Katera Energy. So that's going to help them in the shale operating industry as well. However, they did say that they are going to see about a 1% decline in production for this quarter. Not sure what's going to cause that, but that has them trading at about, well, they're up almost 1% this morning.
All right. Resetting the table, it was a modest up day for all the major indexes yesterday. The kind of thing that if it was a regular weekly occurrence, we'd say, oh, good, because you can handle a 32-point increase in the Dow each day and not expect things to go crazy on you. 45 minutes before we open this morning, what are we looking at?
Dave, we have given back all of the excitement that hit the market somewhere about 20 minutes ago. And we're still in
Geez.
the green. Don't get me, we're still in the green, but just not near by the amount we were. The Dow right now is up like $45. S&P 500 is up 15. The Nasdaq's up almost 60. So that puts the S&P and the Nasdaq 100 up a little over 0.2%. On the other side, we've got silver making a big comeback up almost 4% this morning, $76.40 an ounce. Gold is up 1.33%. Still not back to 5,000 though, 4,972. And then crude oil, man, up 2.3%, $63.74 a barrel. And I saw gas today, Dave, over $3 a gallon again.
The oil markets are so dang nervous with us having two carrier groups hanging around off the coast of Iran. The news came out this morning. I would expect to see some downsides that Iran has agreed in principle to a few changes in their nuclear policy. We'll find out what that means, but that might settle down the oil markets a little bit because that seems to be the proximate cause of the volatility in oil lately. Looking across the pond, the Asian Rim market is kind of weird this week because the mainland Chinese markets are all closed. Everybody else, for the most part, is up fractionally at the 6 a.m. close in the Asian Rim. Europe, on the other hand, is generally 100% optimistic. I don't see any red anywhere on the European scene. Average European index up by about 0.8% halfway through their trading day. Getting my retirement in line takes an expert pair of eyes. That means I need some help from you. How do I find you to turn my dreams into plans, Philip?
Dave, I'd love to spend 30 minutes on the phone with folks to make sure that they've got everything lined up and ready for that retirement they always dreamed of. To do that, just give us a call at 863-382-0037. Talk to Lisa and she'll get you on the schedule. And then catch us for the Statler Financial Radio Show this weekend, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM.
And newstalk730am.com, where we stream everything we do over there as well. I'll see you in the morning, my friend. Be well.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.